It's the time of year when a lot of us are taking stock and thinking about what we got done this year and how we can do better next year. Stephanie recently sat down with the author of a new book all about how you can unlock your full potential.
We have all heard it before. Work hard, do your best, and eventually you will succeed. But what if there is not a one-size-fits-all approach to achieving your best self? How do you unlock your potential if you don't even know it exists? Well, there is a way. And our next guest is here to explain it all. I am so happy to welcome Adam Grant, organizational psychologist. I am his super fan. He's the author of the new must-read book, Hidden Potential, The Science of Achieving Greater Things. I cannot imagine a better book to read going into the new year. Thank you for writing this. A lot of us could use it right now. I want to start by understanding, is there one strategy for all of us to unlock our potential?
I hope not. That would be really boring. Never seen it. My job as a social scientist is to look at the data and try to figure out what does it take for people to grow and exceed their own expectations and others. And there are about as many strategies as there are people in the world.
Then why did you decide to write this book? If there are that many strategies and that many people in the world, how can you give us a guidebook?
Well, not all of them are equally effective. So what I wanted to know is, what are the ones that consistently work for most of the people most of the time? And I think there's a lot to learn from the evidence on that, as opposed to just listening to the advice that we're given that's maybe grounded in one person's idiosyncratic experience.
You know, you talk about something that people rarely think is the key to success. You talk about the importance of making mistakes. Why?
Well, psychologists find that when you make a mistake, you actually remember the correct answer better. So when you screw up at something, maybe you ruminate, maybe you beat yourself up. But guess what? Tomorrow, you're not going to lose sight of that fact you got wrong. And so there's actually research suggesting that if you want students to improve on a test, you should deliberately quiz them before they've mastered the material. And then when they make errors, they remember the right answers and they're better prepared.
Something surprising in the book that I really loved is you talk about that feedback might not always be helpful. And I think about this often because, you know, we put so much weight on what other people are telling us, never thinking about the fact about what their biases are, right? What they want for us. Yet we're saying, what do people think of me?
Well, not all critics are thinking critically, and not all critics are speaking constructively. So the questions I like to ask when feedback comes in are, one, is this person credible? Are they an expert in the task? Two, are they familiar with me? Do they know what I'm capable of? And three, do they care? Are they trying to help me?
Bingo. Isn't that something we forget about so often?
Constantly. I mean, how often are you on social media and somebody attacks you or trolls you?
Yes.
And then you should wonder at some point, like, do I even know this person? Why is their opinion important to me?
Why are we giving them this much credit? Why is this person out there in the ether suddenly getting into my psyche and getting me down?
Does a complete stranger deserve power over your emotions? No.
So how do we change that? Because feedback in many cases is helpful, so we can at least be self-aware.
Well, I think that asking for feedback is not the best way to learn. There's evidence to suggest that we're better off seeking advice. When you ask somebody for feedback, you basically focus their attention on the past. So you may have critics who attack your worst self and cheerleaders who applaud your best self. What you want are coaches who see your hidden potential and then help you become a better version of yourself. And the way you get people to coach you is not to say, tell me what your feedback is on yesterday. It's to ask, what advice do you have for me to do better tomorrow?
You do say that everyone fits into a personality type. Talk to us about what those types are and how do we figure out which one we are?
Well, psychologists they've actually started to reject personality types more and more because most personality traits are a continuum. And it's pretty common.
And we're all complicated.
We are. I mean, even just to call yourself an introvert or an extrovert, that's an average across a whole spectrum of tendencies. But I think when we look at people's psychology, personalities really are default. It's our tendency. It's not our destiny.
I need you to say that again. Our personality is our tendency, not our destiny.
Exactly.
What does that mean?
Well, we didn't choose the traits we were born with. So I'm an introvert. I didn't decide that I was going to get overstimulated by other people when I have too much interaction.
You're an introvert on television right now.
This is not my natural mode at all. This was completely uncomfortable for me for a long time. But I do have a set of principles that are important to me, one of which is sharing knowledge. And I decided that if I was going to do that, I had to get comfortable being uncomfortable on stage. And here we are.
Is it possible to change parts of ourselves that hold us back from success?
I think it has to be not only possible, but something that we can all get better at over time. And I think one of the ways we do that is by putting ourselves in positions where we have to stretch beyond our strengths. So a lot of people think the best way to learn is to set a goal of improving at a skill. Psychologists find that sometimes you're better off actually saying, I'm going to make my goal, not learning, but discomfort. You can see this, for example, with people learning to do improv comedy. If you just give them the goal of improving, they make these incremental changes. And then, they might try something that's a little bit unfamiliar for them, but they don't really stretch outside their comfort zone. If you say, look, walk into this improv demo, and I just want you to be as uncomfortable as possible. They take all kinds of risks, they challenge themselves more, and they end up improving more. So I guess one of the keys to change is recognizing that discomfort is fuel for growth.
I love the Ubik Improv, which is truly one of the hardest things for people to do. Then if there is one takeaway from this book, if there's one thing that you want people to know, what is it?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that we all know we have blind spots. We forget that some of those blind spots are actually bright spots.
Ooh.
That we have strengths that aren't visible to us, that we can't see our own capacity for growth. And I think so many people walk around with imposter syndrome, saying, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's only a matter of minutes until everyone finds out. What I want people to do instead is to say, well, I don't know what I'm doing yet, and it's only a matter of minutes until I figure it out. And if you have multiple people
So fake it till you make it?
No, not necessarily. I would say if you have multiple people who believe in you, it's probably time to believe them and realize they see capacity for growth in you that you haven't been able to recognize yet.
But none of it will happen until you believe in you.
I think that could be helpful on the margin.
On the margin, believe in yourself. The great words of Adam Grant. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks, Steph.